Well, so we are here with our last form of report. Okay, you have done newspaper reports, you have done movie reviews, and so the last form of report that comes is a book review. Now, before we proceed with this, what you need to know is that sometimes, I guess, once there was something in a school question paper called a play review, and let's see, there was something called a music album review. But these things rarely come nowadays, and seriously, the boards have never given them. So, book reviews is the last form of report. It's marked reports 3 because after this, we'll be moving on to our last lesson on Pressy. So, let's just start here. Book reviews. So, what are book reviews? Firstly, now you need to review a book, obviously, like the name says. And the thing is that, like movie reviews, it can be any book. It won't be pre-decided for you, and points won't be given. Now the thing is that this becomes a bit problematic because not all of us are readers. Okay, that is, not all of us like to read. So in this video, we'll also be talking about what to do when you haven't read something, and also we'll give you some points for suggested reading so that you can read those books and get a little bit of points for your review. So moving on, obviously the first thing that you need to see is the points that actually matter in a book review. They are obviously the book name, when the book was released, the author's name, the general theme of the book, the plot. Obviously you can't give the ending away here like the movie. The number of pages in the book, the publisher, the versions of the book, the availability of the book. This includes if the book is available in hardcover or paperback, and nowadays you even have Kindles and PDF, and also the awards that it has won. Now let's just see point by point here. Firstly, the book name, that obviously has to be given, and the release date includes that when the book was released. It doesn't have to be a very specific date, it can be any time you want. Also, the author is important because a lot of people buy books based on the author. Okay, because there are famous authors whose books sell like like they spread like wildfire, so and they sell like hotcakes. So you really need to mention the author properly. Also, the general theme of the book, this includes what type of book it is, if it's a horror story or a humorous one, a comedy, a novel, a fiction, a science fiction, anything. So you need to mention all of that. You need to give the plot again, without the ending. The best thing to do about the plot is to read the back page of the book, the back cover of the book, and write that bit. Okay, anyway, so then you have the number of pages in the book. This is also important because not a lot of people like to read a very long book, so that's there. The publisher of the book, the thing is that one author can be published by a lot of people. Famous books have been published by thousands of publishers, so please mention the specific publisher which you are referring to. Okay, and the versions of the book, I mean, if there have been any edits, if there have been any corrections and new versions have come up, please mention them. The availability of the book, this includes that if the book is only available in hardcover, because in hardcover, like, the price goes up, and the awards that the book or the author has won for this particular title. So that was it. Now, the format of a book review is exactly the same as that of a movie review. You give a title, this should not be the name of the book, you need to make this up. Then you give the name of the reporting agent, that can be a staff reporter, a book reviewing team. If it's not mentioned newspaper, then it should be your own name. Everything is same as in case of movie reviews. Also, then you need to mention the place and date, and then the body begins. Okay, so that was your format. The next thing that you have is a question format, that is the types of questions that can come. Firstly, very similar to movies, you will never be told to review a book that is decided by the paper setters. Okay, because books are rare things, so it may so happen that you have read a book and your friend hasn't, even if it is a very common book. I mean, honestly speaking, I still know people who haven't read Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, so it really does, the book won't ever be given to you. However, you may be told to choose a book from a very specific genre, which means a very specific theme, like write a review on a book, a fictional book, or a horror story, something like that. In that case, you need to narrow your suggestions a bit, but generally that doesn't come, and you just need to write very specific book reviews. So the last thing that it says is that if nothing is mentioned, then you can review anything. Now, anything, it doesn't mean that you can review comic books, but yes, you can obviously review children's books and small story series or novels, anything you actually want. So we'll move on to the next thing, that is to review a book that you have read. Now, this is gives you the highest degree of freedom. You can choose literally any book, and what you need to look here is that if you choose a book which is written by an author who is not so well known, okay, there are thousands of authors who are not so well known, and in this case the main problem that you will be facing is that maybe your teacher hasn't even heard of the author or hasn't even heard of the book, so he doesn't really know that whether you are bluffing or not, because nobody really checks. So what I would definitely suggest is that you try and give the name of some award-winning author's book, and that way it has a lot of points to include. Also, the point is that the choice of book, the book that you choose, has a little bit of marks. I mean, obviously not officially, but your teacher has some marks for that. If you are studying in class 11 and choosing a children's book like Noddy, then you will be penalized for that. Okay, book reviews not only test your writing skills but also want to see how much you read. Now, if you are given a book review of a specific genre, please know this word right here, genre. It isn't pronounced genre, it's pronounced genre, ZHON space ra, RUH. So genre, it means like the theme of the book. So if you're given this, then you need to review something from fiction or crime. It'll be told to you that what exactly you need to do. To choose a book from that genre and just review it like you would review any general normal book. Now, the problem arises, like I told you in the beginning of the video, if you are not a reader. So if you're not a reader, then what do you do? The point is that if you're not a reader, then there are like a few suggestive readings at the end of this video. You please go through them. Anyway, the most important part of a review, obviously like movie reviews, is the actual review of the book. Okay, that is the factual part. How you felt about the book, that also matters, because again this is a review. And the point is like what, unlike a movie where the director and the actors usually popularize the movie, in case of books it's the author himself who like popularizes a book. So please mention these points very clearly, the author, publisher, etc. Moving on, this is the case if you're not a reader. So what I would suggest is you go through the suggested readings at the end of this video and just read one book and keep the facts ready, just in case you're not a reader and you may need to mention something, like you have to write a book review, because like I said at the beginning of this reports thing, you won't be given any choices. Okay, next thing is that if you are doing the suggested reading at the end, then just get the facts and the summary of the book. You don't really have to read the full thing. And also, please, if you're not a reader, then start reading, because reading is the only thing that is gonna get you far. Okay, so this is the last thing, this the summary and suggested reading. So these are very easy things that I've chosen. Firstly, I'm sorry for the highlight right here. So firstly, you could choose Sherlock Holmes' series or short stories of Oscar Wilde and O. Henry. They are written in very simple and lucid English, and they are pretty easy to understand, so I really don't think that should cause a problem for you. Also, if it does cause a problem for you, then that's your problem and you will be penalized heavily. Sherlock Holmes is very popular and obviously you should read that. The last thing, like it says that you are not allowed to review comics, no matter how famous they are. I don't care if they are Batman or Tintin or Asterix. You are not allowed to review any children's book or comics, so no reviewing the Pogo stuff. Okay, so with that we come to the end of the penultimate lesson. That was book reviews. We really hope you enjoyed the lesson, and stay tuned. Okay, we are coming back with Precis very soon. So with that, I'm signing off today, and goodbye. I hope you have a nice day ahead.